Well, we're gonna rock and roll, ram and jam. I got Mr. Bodie here to make sure I do right. Don't say the wrong thing. Don't want to embarrass anybody or anything. One of our many Western Shepherds we're kindly proud of. But you're not here to talk about Western Shepherds. You're here this week to learn about protection dogs, security dogs, keeping your family safe and your possessions in your own pocket. And one of the big things that we know is kind of prevalent in excuse me for laughing, but Bodie's over there pushing the cameraman around. One of the things we know is a problem in especially the larger cities in this country today is carjackings. And carjackings also present a unique lesson for all of us. First, you want to know, how do you save your car and your butt in case someone does try to carjack you? And there's two different strategies, two different tactics that carjackers commonly use. We're going to address both of those tactics so you'll know how and what to do, no matter how if you're unfortunate enough to be in that situation, no matter how they go about whichever strategy they use on you. But one thing you got to remember, the term is personal protection dog. Now, we call our Canine Pro Sports dogs security dogs, a security certification, but it's a personal protection dog. Personal protection, break the name down, it means a dog who is capable of protecting your person. He can't protect your person unless he has 24-hour a day access to you. This is where the problem comes in, because the most important part of a protection dog is his basic obedience and social temperament. Because without a good, proper social temperament, if he's not aggressive, if he's happy, he meets people, that's a dog that can go everywhere with you. And let's face it, he can't protect your person if he ain't with you. And if you got to go driving somewhere and you got to put your dog in a crate in your car, and then someone attempts to carjack you by either one of these two strategies, well then just let's show you what happens in tactic number one for most carjackers, and you decide.
Get out the car! Come on! Get out! Hurry up! Hurry up! Oh shit! Ah! Okay! Ah! 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 No! Ah! Get your dog! Out!
Alrighty, so now remember, I said there's two strategies, two tactics that carjackers will typically use. What you just saw is the one most people think about. It's the one that, you know, you pull up, you hear about. It's the one that makes the 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock news. When someone pulls up to a stop sign, intersection, stops for a second, and some crazy meth head, high hopped up idiot comes up with a gun, and you saw what happened. So the second strategy or tactic is actually much more common. It's probably the most common form of carjacking, and it's going to occur when you're at a convenience store, when you're at a shopping center. At Christmas time, this is the big way for carjackers to work. They're going to follow you, they're going to look around, scout out a mall, they're going to spot a car they like, they're going to hide in the parking lot, and then they're going to go about, they're going about when you approach. So what you have to understand is there's very little valid information about legitimate protection, or as I call them, security dogs, in the U.S. Most all of this stuff that you see is made up by some guy who did some sort of sport. In America, hell, he probably even invented his own sport, you know. So what they do, like for instance, I see a lot of carjacking internet videos, and what happens in these carjacking videos, if you don't know any better, if you've never participated in a real life robbery report, and you may go for this, and what happens for the sport enthusiasts in America, a carjacking consists of some bad guy who runs up to a car that's got its window rolled down and a big old Rottweiler head sticking out of it, and he runs up and he picks up his arm and he shoves it through the window into the dog's mouth. He screams, hollers, and beats on the roof, and then he runs and they say, oh, that was a carjacking and the dog saved him. Could nothing be further from, I mean, do you really? Let me show you how they really do it. You're returning to your vehicle after a shopping spree. Maybe you're a medical personnel, maybe you're a veterinarian, maybe they think they've got drugs in your vehicle. You're going calmly back to your vehicle, not suspecting a thing, and this is how real carjackings go down. Take a look.
Keith, come on. Oh, shit! Get your dog! No! Oh, God! Please!
Well, all right, you saw how that is the most common form of carjacking you're going to find in America. They catch you going out to your car in a parking lot unsuspecting, and they hit you from behind. What a lot of people don't understand, especially if you're training with these sport dog people, is in real life, if your dog subdues or stops a burglar, that's great. But guess what? After that burglar's subdued, you have to get the cops there. You have to stay in one piece. You have to get your dog back from that guy. And you got to do all that with no help, probably. So when you're doing security dog training, which I feel is a little step above protection dog, it's what we do. It's what Canine Pro Sports certifies. Notice the leash work. Notice what Dr. Devin did in this video. After she approached this potentially dangerous person, their dog was occupying his time by sinking teeth into his body. She still had to subdue the guy. Hey, Bodie. And she had to keep the man subdued until help arrived or cops arrived. You see that leash work? That's what we also teach in pro sports. Your leash, your simple little dog leash, can be a very powerful weapon if you learn how to use it correctly. And we will teach you techniques, or anyone who's doing security dogs can teach you techniques where when you go to approach that meth head and he's hopped up, it won't matter. You'll be able to use your leash to totally subdue the individual until the cops arrive. But this is all part of the complete package of a security dog. And these are the things we're going to try to, as we go through, put a little more knowledge out there about. Mostly, at this point, well, one thing we're worried about is our trial March 31st. You think you got a really tough dog, you want to see if he can match up to a real security dog. We got our Canine Pro Sports finals coming March 31st. We'll have our judges from across the ocean showing up. We'll have decoys from the Danish military coming over, thinking they're tougher than any dog that we ever had in this country. Come on out and join us. If you got questions, March 31st, let us know. In between, click like, share, subscribe, all that clicky stuff. And hope you enjoy this one. We'll see you on the next one.